it.
следующую тему.
Maybe you'll present the next subject yourself.
Да, все о нас знают. Не
So misery. Everybody knows us. They won't ask.
наш
Internet is offering an exhaustive answer. Our real detective.
Спасибо. Это
Thank you, Vladimir Vladimirovich. It's a real charade. But I've got it.
этого трека звучит.
The next topic of our
Знаем, что вы делали прошлым летом.
science popular track is that we've known what you've done, what you did last summer.
Открытым источником.
How would you know everything about a person from open sources?
Технологии,
Andrei Masalovich will explain
канала
a technology development from Aralach,
АО
an author
и президент.
of the CyberDead channel and president of the InfoRus consortium. Hello, Andrei.
Удачи и надеюсь,
I'm leaving the floor to you.
здорово
I
зрителям.
wish you luck. I'm hoping that it'll be exciting both for yourself and for our audience. Okay, so what?
Итак, здравствуйте. Меня зовут
So, hello.
Солович Андрей.
My name is Andrei Masalovich.
Для тех, кто в курсе, соответственно,
Or CyberDead, Cyber
12.
Granddads. So, hi,
Спасибо, что
my cyber grandkids.
правда я
So, it's the 12th PhD. For
вот
the 12th time I'm taking part. It's my 12th T-shirt.
завтра будет доклад.
I've actually put the T-shirt from PhD 2. It'll soon become quite old.
Мы забредаем
So today we're going to have quite a large presentation from which you'll know what's expecting from us, what you can expect from the internet.
незнакомых
Because my presentation is based in real life.
общее
So I wouldn't like to hurt people by posing their pictures, showing their pictures.
фотографий.
I decided to use neural networks that will be using pictures that look like the original, but not exactly the same. So they're all generated. So a girl
Выйти в интернет,
decided to enter the internet, registered an email
небезопасно. Свою
account. She knows that the internet is not safe, so she hid her surname and birth date. Nevertheless, I can tell you that in the internet, there are people
год
who
рождения.
will be able to identify both her name and birth year. Such people are called
В интернете или сейчас
competitive
более модный термин
intelligence
source intelligence. Такие люди довольно
professionals, or as they're somewhat called, ASINT,
не очень хитрые.
or SINT, open source intelligence.
Как минимум,
So some of you may have already guessed the surname of this girl.
было бы очень легко
But
скатиться
it would be very easy
в как у вас
to get into a common discussion how they first
паспорта в каком-нибудь
steal your passwords or data from the computer in some business
несколько раз
center that you're visiting. I would like to show you some different tricks,
охотника за
just to confirm that
паролем
hackers have a lot more tools
аккаунтом.
than just a password to your email account or some other account.
Знаете, что
If you know
Wi-Fi
that you're being
и стараетесь даже не выходить,
tracked on Wi-Fi
огорчу.
and try not to enter the public transit network,
Wi-Fi и Bluetooth
perhaps I'll tell you a bad thing. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth scanners are now installed both in buses and on bus stops in cities. Even when you're not touching anyone, your phone is in your pocket and you're just walking past a bus stop somewhere in a large database, a record appears that the person with his phone number has walked past this site. And by the way, there are
подобные сканеры,
quite a lot of tools built by
чтобы когда
a lot of startups
мог понять, он вас
or cafes, for instance, so that the owner of this cafe should understand
от этого защититься.
whether they had seen you before or not.
Отключу
It's quite easy to protect yourself from things like that. You just make sure you have a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth disabled, and most importantly, a random MAC address should be installed. It's available in all platforms. This now shows how it looks in Windows. random
Далее,
hardware addresses.
давайте посмотрим
Then-
пример посложнее.
Let's take a look at an
Взяла кредит
example which is more difficult. A woman,
на 500 000.
it's a real life case in Yekaterinburg. She took a loan for $500,000
Вот, она выплачивает
rubles
перестала,
with her card as security. She stopped paying at some point of time,
перестала
stopped
соцсетями,
responding to communications. The bank started to
судебные
be worried. They
социальной сети.
brought all this to the court martial, to the
Было написано,
marshals,
у меня локальная проблема.
and
На время
the marshals found her in the internet, and where she
автомобиль
found where she left.
и некий дом на заднем плане. Вот этой
She left like a notice saying, "Please don't worry about me.
которые
I'll
немного
come back soon." And there was a picture of the car that showed the security for this loan.
направления,
So people are in
определение положения по фотографии. Есть даже специальные сайты с квестом.
sheriff's division
Был
or
ролик.
marshal division included a guy who was quite proficient in ASIN.
Приставы такие квесты
So
проходили. Ну и, соответственно,
they found
следующая
the
фотография.
car,
Это пока.
and the next picture
Давайте рассмотрим более
is showing what happened to that car after that. Let's consider
мысль
a more
назад.
sophisticated case. Roll back a couple of years ago
Волна протеста,
when in Hong Kong
революция зонь.
a second
Герой
wave of protest
поскреб и содрал с него
as part of the umbrella revolution took place. So this guy, climbed to the
возникла
flagpole and took down the Chinese flag.
герой. Сделать на это
So they decided to
не очень просто.
identify the personality of this
Смартфонов, гаджетов и прочего. У него нет
self-proclaimed hero. It wasn't quite easy,
даже фонарика.
as it seemed originally. The person didn't have any gadgets.
Комплекции со
The guy was of a very,
у него были
average height and build.
в черной одежде,
He wore a hoodie.
в балаклаве.
He had black
Единственное, к чему можно придаться, это на очках
clothes and balaclava. The only thing that one could start from was that his eyeglasses had this bird sun.
в таких
So
очках.
basically, one way was to pass through like 1.5 billion Chinese and see who was wearing those eyes.
Другим
The
путем
policeman decided to go a different way.
и стал
He
смотреть,
went to the internet and started looking who and when was posting this picture.
потому что сидел
Who were the first ones to start sharing it? Because internet, when they insert some information,
это люди,
the people who are taking it up in the first minutes, it's usually the same network. They usually know each other and coordinate their actions.
смотреть, кто это.
And the policeman started to
Первым
look who posted this picture, who were the first ones to report it, and who were the first to comment it. And almost immediately he got into a page of a guy with the same kind of eyeglasses
сделал.
who had this text, "Hey, hey, just guess who's done it."
С собой
And you can imagine the policeman guessed who it was. So even if you don't have special tools, a person who knows how to work with the internet will help them reach you.
фотография.
Then
Это здесь,
a picture.
к сожалению, у нас
This picture, unfortunately, is
не сегодняшняя, а
is true. This is a picture from your
три.
apartment, but not today, but from the future. What
Несчастная девушка из
awaits you in 2-3 months? This shows an unfortunate girl from South America
пылесоса такого
who bought an expensive robo vacuum cleaner,
в интернете.
and then suddenly found this picture of hers in the internet where she's in a toilet with an open face and not only face.
Была в квартире одна,
She was in the apartment alone at the moment. She got interested. Could be done because the picture was taken from the floor. They started to find out, and then it turned out that pictures like that are made by the robo cleaner.
Я разрешаю
So when you're buying the device, you tick a box saying that I allow collect information to improve the quality of service, which is true. You can indeed drop a towel or move a chair, and the cheap robo cleaner would get confused.
дороже, когда есть
So therefore, more expensive
делают трехмерную
devices, photograph the apartment, then build a 3D
по этим полкам
model
они могут угадать, где
mostly based on fixed items,
робот
and they use it. So what happened with the girl? The girl was in the home, was at home alone.
сделал снимок,
The door to the toilet was not closed. The
производит
smart vacuum cleaner
снимки, передать,
took a picture.
умеет
Passed it back to the headquarters.
Сказали, к нам не
The system was not processing the information itself. It was hiring a subcontracting organization. So the girl went to the
не можем
company. They said, we don't do that. We pass it all to some other company. And they said that we use volunteer students for manual
история
setup.
в России.
So somebody did that. Another sad story that happened in Russia.
Отправилась на выходные
A woman went to visit her mother.
и в субботу
Her husband stayed alone at home, and on Saturday morning,
ее
the
похвалили,
fitness band
хорошо провела.
beeped on her wrist, giving her praise that
Физически пар.
she has good physical parameters.
Стала разбираться,
Well, no woman would agree to her being praised. She started to
и показывать
try and find out what was happening, and
себя в квартире.
it appeared that the fitness band
Часы. Вот,
was tracking smart
для нее очень
weight, smart scale at home,
50 килограмм
and it turned out that somebody, that she took a weight of
на ее весах, и можно
52 kilograms, and she understood that at this very moment, some other woman was climbing the scale.
не просто на планете
So
роботами,
we are now not just on the planet
захваченные
that
которые
has been captured by robots.
долларов в составе.
We are now on a planet captured by robots that's passing our information to criminal
Кто
organizations.
занимается этими задачами,
Those who work with these things professionally have probably
похожий. Вот, когда
recalled a similar
браслетом
case
пользуются
when
девочки,
fitness
фирма Strava
was used by guys rather than girls. Strava, quite a well-known American vendor of fitness bands,
карту мира.
has built an interactive
Сейчас люди
world
с
map
браслетами бегают.
on its website where you can see how people wearing those sports bands are now walking and running
Браслетами
everywhere in the world. And it turned out that fitness bands are used in beautiful parks around some sites, well-known sites, but people also noticed that people with the bands also run in some deserts of Middle East.
очень похожих на взлетных.
They run around,
Было
you
секретных.
military bases. And this way, they were able to identify several super secret American military bases,
Секретная база была обнаружена.
not only in Northern Africa, but also one base in Australia.
Там женщина, вернее, со
So the woman with her competitor on the scales is not the most,
дальше.
is
Представьте
not the worst thing that can happen.
человека,
Going on, imagine two people being friends, but hiding their friendship.
они не перезастают.
They never check
Друзья.
in any services. They try not to communicate, but they are now riding together in a minibus, looking at the screens. What's bringing them together?
В смартфоне гироскоп.
Each of them has a smartphone. The smartphone has a gyroscope, an accelerometer, and they fix, they identify that they are jumping
людей.
on road bumps synchronously.
Так, значит, они на
So somebody can identify that now in the same vehicle, which means that they're friends. even though they're hiding this.
Меры такого
And by the way, these measurements and correlations are a true thing.
механизма, которые
Have been since 2015. There are mechanisms that allow running such analysis. People still come to you at my workshops,
сектора берут за
I mean, my colleagues from the professional sector,
показываешь, ну,
and then say, when you are, telling stories, please don't mention these things because this is not real. And
которые данные
I assure you, it has been real for more than 10 years now. Okay,
собираются в некоторых
the data
раньше эти базы были разобщены
that get leaked are collected in large databases. In the past, these
фактически направлены
databases were separate.
себя
So each company or each political organization were trying to build
своей фирмы.
their own database. It was considered to be bad form to steal cookies. Everybody was using a separate cookie for the website. Now it's long
База это пространство
past. The data suppliers know that their feeding base is the context advertising environment. So therefore, they're friends with each other. They exchange data, and the data starts getting enriched. And big data databases start appearing, containing more and more information about us. And we're just one step away from situation. And maybe the situation is already there. That somewhere there's a huge database with a so-called gold record, meaning that everything in a single place. And the advent of such databases and digital profiles resulted in digital doppelgangers appearing, who are able to perform legally
нам реально
valid, actions on our behalf. The first person who suffered from such databases was
еще интернет
Herod the Great, even though 2,000 years ago the internet was much weaker than today, but nevertheless it was a great Hebrew ruler. His adventures were described in detail, and one of these episodes got into one of the Gospels.
Ироду вроде как
So how he
доложили,
killed the babies.
родился младенец.
So Herod was reported then in Bethlehem. A baby was born that would become the king of the Jews, and he made an order to kill all the kids.
Младенцем
Well, stories are different. People are called many thousands of
человек.
babies, even though the whole of Bethlehem had a few
Является
thousand people living. Nevertheless, for over 2,000 years, the name Herod is used as a curse, even though in the digital database there was a mistake. In fact, King Herod died 4 years before these events, but nevertheless, his digital doppelganger is still ruining its reputation.
Салович, фамилия,
The second example is myself. He is now in front of you. My name is Andrei Masalovich. It's quite a rare name. There are about 150 to 200 people across Russia with the same surname. Nevertheless, my work is related to the internet, and you can find a lot of mentions
и более
to me in the internet if you run a search. More than that, I know how to promote myself in the internet, and I have tagged text and pictures. So what does it lead to? See, these are two pictures in Yandex requests.
вопрос. Андрей,
On the right, you see the answer to a request, Andrei Masalovich, and on the left, you see an answer to the request, Vladimir Masalovich. If you take a look, you'll see they're almost the same.
несколько лет
So,
назад, когда
not so far away from here, several years ago, when the World Football Cup was run in Moscow, I was in Luzhniki, military
предохранители там.
the police
Господин Салович, да,
detail asked me
пожалуйста.
and said, Mr. Masalovich, yes, can I have your passport? Oh, you're Andrei. Yes, I'm Andrei.
Я говорю, у меня есть
Do you have a brother? I have a brother.
речь, я говорю, у меня
I understood by that time.
в
He
Новосибирске
lives far away in Novosibirsk, but perhaps you need Vladimir Masalovich. Yes. Okay, Vladimir Masalovich
поселение за разжигание
has been imprisoned 6 months ago. It's clear that he should be put in the database of people not welcome to public events. Are you sure he's not your relative?
фотография моя.
He just has the same name, namesake. How come it's so similar? Why so? I mean, because the picture is the same.
То есть где
Why so? Because your colleagues don't know how to deal with the information. Somewhere in some global database, instead of a picture of the person that spent 6 months in prison, they had my picture, and nobody knows
решает,
how to fix that. The only thing that
который еще хуже.
can mitigate the situation is that this girl suffered an even a worse experience. It's a popular TV anchor from China. She started to get,
Дороги на красный свет.
fines for crossing a street to the red light,
Из городов, где ее вообще
including from cities that she had never visited. She started to investigate, and it turned out that her picture was posted on a bus. And when the bus was crossing the intersection, the video surveillance system would notice the girl's face, and the system is smart enough to understand that the pedestrians should not be on the road at that time. The system is quite
найти его.
is intelligent enough to identify the person, find their address, and to issue a fine
Но это
for them.
видеонаблюдение
But the system
первое
has not been explained that a person can't run faster than,
все-таки разогнать
30 or something kilometers an hour. And secondly, even if
2 на 3 метра.
she would run at this speed, her face will not be 2 to 3 meters size.
С ними жить.
So it's another indication that the planet has been captured by robots.
Голову показать, что
So my intention was to take you off balance a bit, to show you that control over our activity can take very different forms and shapes, and can start not only when we're using our smartphone or email. It can cover any type of our activity. Every action leaves a digital trace, and these digital traces
кроме того,
merge into some huge databases, or more than that, they can also pass through some traffic
показать этим пользу.
highways where they can be intercepted. And I'd like to show you how it can be used by special services today, at which level this fight is going on now. And I'd like to use as an example
Из сегодняшней жизни
the 3 tricks from today's life of special services. Look, the screen depicts
января 21
the situation on the 6th of January 2021, when a botched attempt to storm the Capitol building was
ФБР объявил, что каждый из
performed.
участников
It looked like that, and after that,
в степени
FBI announced that every participant would,
каждого и
be sent to court depending on the different level of participation. Try and find out who did what.
тысяч дел.
And indeed, FBI announced that they opened
Подсудного персонажа. Помните, один такой
opened several thousand cases. I actually thought
Ну, а второй
that 2 characters would be judged. The first, the one
голой грудью 40
was waving the flag, and the second was dressed like a shaman. Nevertheless, the first person to be judged was a woman that wouldn't go in front of cameras, that wouldn't jump on tables, just a person from the crowd. The journalists got interested why and how it happened,
Фемида опустился на
why Femida's
женскую голову. Вот
sword
ФБР объяснили,
went
что
on this
каждого формируется
unknown lady's head. And FBI
этой женщины
explained that the case for
быстрее других.
every person was formed on the participation, and this lady's case was the most simple, was the easiest to perform.
Вычислить
So what technologies are actually used, can be actually used? How to identify people in this mess. Let me give examples of 3 technology used here. Well, the first technology
фотографии сверхвысокие
is to use super high resolution pictures. We've heard something like that.
фотографии умеют
That such pictures
делать какая-то дьявольская
that some, satellite optics can be done. I will open up a secret that we're not yet there.
сантиметров.
The minimum or the resolution
Можно спичный коробок смерить.
taken from satellites
Вот источник
is about 30 centimeters. So
сфотографировать.
measuring distances
Говорят, что вот
It's much more accurate, like you can identify a matchbox, but to recognize images is not yet there. Nevertheless, the super high resolution optics is used in professional photographic equipment. So on the left picture, you see one picture taken from St. Basil's picture in Moscow. And you can see the whole red square there. Here you see the white box, which I blew up here on the right. Here, can you see the resolution? So the resolution of this single picture is enough to recognize every face in the red square. This example has been taken from the gigarama.ru portal. If somebody is interested, you can actually go to that portal. There are a lot of curious things there. There's also an interesting picture, if they haven't taken it away, where a mob like that goes through the square during some mass event, and you can see special services agents on the roofs, and one has, a bottle of drinking water, and another one, a can of Coca-Cola. So you can not only see the sniper, but also what they're drinking. So today's optics allows doing that. So special services has such optics at their disposal. If you pass through the main entrance into the Spark, there's a bad news for you. You're already there in that Gigarama database. The second technology used by FBI was the data from your smartphone about your movements. This is a real-life picture from a real-life under Android. It generates 100 points an hour. Apple the same, more than 1 a minute. So if you have a habit of carrying your smartphone in your pocket, don't worry. It knows how many times you go to your refrigerator during the night. When you get up to go to the toilet, it knows more than you think about it. And the accuracy is such that you can not only determine who visited the room, but also who sat down to the table, who climbed the table, who approached the safe box. So you're carrying a constant spy with you. And the third technology used by FBI there was transition from lawful interception to the concept of lawful access. Let me explain. Journalists, when they started to figure out things about these Trump lovers, paid attention to the fact that sometimes they get information. Information is used that you can't get through lawful interception. It's wiretapping. In Russia, it's called SORM. Basically, there's a system to support investigation. So lawful intercept the signal, but it can't decipher it. So therefore, special services try to persuade companies to offer them keys. So FBI took information that was in coded traffic, which FBI, in theory, should not be able. So the journalists started to get worried. And then a picture like that was leaked from FBI, where it was explained which platforms leak which information to special services. It turned out that FBI and correspondingly the US 16 special services and the Five Eyes community, so-called, the US, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand, all these special services have already had conversations with the platform owners, and platform owners voluntarily, in addition, according to the Constitution, decided to share these data. These columns are different, and each column corresponds to a vendor. The height of the column is different, but I can tell you that each platform shares quite a lot of information. Those who are interested, just get to the Cyber Dead channel. I have a video there. So to be very brief, Apple is leaking more than everyone.
Если речь идет о китайце, он не
behaves platform is Chinese WeChat.
спецслужбы.
Talk about the Chinese, they don't share anything.
Если спрашивают китайские спецслужбы,
If it's a Chinese special service asking, they answer everything.
поскольку
They share everything.
я вижу не китайцев, вот
It's a foreign
когда вы пользуетесь
special service.
вот,
They would share everything about non-Chinese.
или приватным чатом, или приватной почтой на ProtonMail, у меня для вас плохие новости. Далее,
So
сейчас
if you believe that your
продвигается аналитический
private email with Proton is actually private, I've got bad news for you.
уже очень много, и сейчас главная
There is
задача
quite a lot of data being accumulated. The main task is not to collect it or decipher it, but rather to interpret the data
целые новые
properly.
направления, появляются целые новые специальности, так аналитик разведки. Вот у меня на фирме дурацкое
There are new
положение,
professions like
постоянно хватает программистов, и там программиста от
intelligence analysts.
50 тысяч в месяц я найду вот так вот. А
So
вакансия на 200-300 тысяч рублей в месяц у нас постоянно висит. То есть нам всё
regular
время нужны аналитики, аналитики
pay
не хватает.
range for
Вот, но что такое
developers is
аналитика?
60 to 150,000 rubles.
Посмотрите фотографию.
But for
картинку.
data
Это
intelligence,
репродукция картины Ван Гога
the
«Ночная терраса». Очень
paycheck
известная картина.
starts from
Разумеется,
250,000.
элементарно
This
вычислить
is
место, где это все
a
было
picture by Van Gogh,
все было нарисовано.
Night Terrace.
Практически неразличимые люди, но по этой фотографии специалист с точностью до 2 дней может установить дату, когда это было снято. Каким образом? Ван Гог,
You cannot identify
не заметив,
faces in this
точно
picture.
изобразил расположение
Van Gogh was perfectly able to depict
точку.
the position of stars. If you use a star chart,
когда звезды были расположены вот
Atlas,
так,
if you
с точностью до 1
identify
ну, плюс-минус
the
1
exact position of stars, you can pinpoint the exact day this
перехватываем из интернета,
painting was
расшифровываем что-то еще
made on,
додумать. При
plus
этом
or minus 1 day.
еще одно измерение нашего нового
There is
мира,
another dimension of the beautiful world we wake up to.
чужого разума,
This is the advent
нейронных
of
сетей. На самом деле,
AI,
искусственный
neural
интеллект
networks.
пришел на планету не сегодня,
Actually,
первый,
the AI
15 тысяч лет назад, когда человек приручил собаку,
appeared
появилось первое автономное
first
устройство, первое передача
50,000 years ago when you first domesticated dogs.
системы «Умный дом» или «Безопасный город».
These were the first components of a
Собака
smart
понимает,
home
что делать, понимает,
system
что
or
вас
smart city.
сама принимает
It wasn't that bad back then.
там, брось суп.
The dog can decide for itself whether
Собакам не
to
приходило
bark,
в голову мысль
run
о
away, or
мировом
bite you.
господстве.
But dogs
сейчас
never
С
had
быстрым
the
развитием
idea to conquer the world. But with the rapid development of technologies like ChatGPT, you start having these bad thoughts that one day that piece of software may pose some
прямо
objectives for
сегодня. То есть, на
itself.
самом деле,
My
разведка в интернете
task
касается
was to share some facts with you. Open source intelligence on the internet
чьей-то информации.
is
Она
not
может
only
помочь и вам.
for someone pursuing a specific goal.
Смотрите, я летел
It can help you. Okay, I was traveling on a plane to Myanmar.
Ну,
I
согласитесь,
saw a nice picture.
красиво, но немножко
The grid
размыто.
looks great, but it's a bit blurry, right?
Решил приколоться, вспомнил, я
For the fun of
30 лет
it,
назад занимался
I remember that some
казалось, что
30 years ago,
я даже статьи
I was dealing with neural networks.
помнил, старые фильтры на
I
нейросетях.
wrote some articles
И на эту
on
фотографию,
that,
которую каждый из вас может
hoping that one day they would
натравил фильтр
emerge,
нейросетевой.
and I used a neural network filter
Согласитесь,
against this image.
с помощью
This
нейросети
is what you
можно
look like.
вытаскивать
See, by using neural networks,
неощутимые детали, едва
You
заметные
can
детали с фотографии. Кстати,
actually
частотные фильтры
capture
работают, ну, фантастически
the
хорошо. Например,
lowest,
стопроцентно фильтруют
faintest
костра.
details.
То есть, если на
You can
фотографии
perfectly filter out
валяется старая
smoke
фото, где
from a
сидят какие-то
bonfire.
костра, но их не видно, потому что они закрыты
If you
дымом.
see a
Вот у меня для вас
picture
хорошая
of
новость.
people around a bonfire and
Фильтры,
some faces
Помните
are
лица ваших друзей, когда вы
screened
были молодыми.
by the smoke,
Вот слева
you can actually use a low frequency filter
фильтрованная.
and use it
Вот.
to
Ну и
improve the quality.
чтобы
You see the before and afters.
на чем-нибудь таком
To
интересном,
finish off with something of interest,
напоследок немножко конспирологии, раз уж мы заговорили о нейросетях,
Well,
которые сейчас, кстати, очень сильно
a
помогают
little bit on conspiracy theories.
исследованию. Вот, уже
AI
используется и
is
со стороны светлых сил, и со стороны темных.
actually used by
Вот,
both the
напоследок,
light
слайд, о
side
котором
and
я
dark
сейчас сам
side.
думаю. Чат GPT
To finish off, this is the slide I'm thinking of.
Библии
ChatGPT was presented with the first
писал.
chapter of the
Вот,
Bible.
ChatGPT ответил с
Asking who wrote it,
97,38%
ChatGPT pointed out that with probably
это
97%
писал искусственный разум.
it was
Теперь с этим
written
живите.
by AI. Now live with that.
Ну что ж, если вам эта
So,
тема понравилась и интересна,
if you like this topic, if you want to know more,
профессиональных, то
I have a few pieces of advice to you
будучи специалистом
as a professional. If you are not information security professional, how do you protect yourselves in this
Первое,
challenging,
используйте так называемые
dreadful new world?
законы Кергофа.
First,
Вот, они были предложены
use
в конце
Kergov's
19 века, когда
law.
появился
They were
телеграф,
introduced
понадобилось шифровать много разных сообщений и передавать
with the emergence of the telegraph.
скрытно. Вот,
When you wanted
есть
to
законов Кергофа.
transmit
В главном
information
второй
secretly,
закон враг
there are
знает
6
систему.
laws in total. The second law is the most important one. The enemy knows the system, so do not use
Используйте один и
system
тот же пароль.
related.
Вот. Сколько
knowledge.
сервисов, столько паролей.
Don't use
Повторно
the same
использованный пароль — это прямой подарок для
password. If you reuse your passwords, that's a gift for
Не используйте пароли, которые
intruders.
кажутся
I
вам
could see several people going
достаточно
pale
крепостойкими.
after I
Могу
said that.
обучить 1, 2, 3,
Make
4,
sure
5, 6, или
your
говорите, или ваш номер телефона, или
passwords
ваша фамилия
are
набрана
hard
английскими
to
буквами, не
brute
являются
force.
достаточно крепостойкими.
Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, or QWERTY, or your
Не менее одной
first
большой
and last name are not secure.
одной буквы,
It should
одной цифры,
be
не
at
менее
least
одного
8
служебного символа.
alphanumerical
Я когда-то проводил такой для себя забег
characters
блондинки против хакеров.
in uppercase, lowercase, special symbols,
Пароли я выбрал 100
and
штук.
numbers.
Логинов, паролей явно хакерских, там, с логином
I chose
Хацкер, там, я бог,
around 100
сам супер
hacker like
штук 100 блондинок, там, блонди, супер блонди, я
Logins.
блондинку, я креветка.
I'm a hacker, super hacker, and
Чисто проиграли.
super blown.
Если
Super
человек
hackers
называется хакер,
lost
супер
terribly.
админ,
If you
точно либо номер
refer to
телефона,
yourself as
либо
a super hacker, it's going to be your ICQ, instant messaging service,
рождения, либо
ID,
хакер тут свиньи.
your last name, first name, date of birth.
Вот, а паролем было имя любимой собаки, это
A
правда.
hacker's archive was taken down on VeraCrypt,
Девушка
and his password was his dog's name.
с служебными символами. Я долго не мог понять, что это такое. Потом
The winning person was a lady with a 16-character length.
в английской раскладке русская фраза «Почему я
Password.
такая дура». Вот.
It read,
Его не надо нигде хранить. Он всегда с
"Why
собой.
am I such a mess?
Он убьет
Why
любой
am I such a fool?"
брутфорсер. Ну, брутфорсер срубается где-то на 12-м символе.
It was a Russian phrase, but typed in
Будьте как эта
corresponding
девушка. Второе,
English alphabet keys,
это
so you
шестое.
cannot possibly brute force that. And finally,
Когда-то я
the
начинал работу,
sixth
мне
rule
моя
of
первая
Kergov.
начальница сказала: Андрей,
My first
с этого момента тебя будут окружать.
superior
Документацию пиши для
at my first job told me, remember, you will be surrounded by idiots.
как для дебилов. Так вот, как это
Those who
касается вас?
call you by the phone will be idiots.
Коллеги, даже
Write software as if it is designed for idiots.
зашли,
Even
например,
if you are super hacker, your friends
супер
will
секретную, нигде никаких
give
следов нет,
you up, will turn you in. Okay, you have a super secret
ничего. Вот, и здесь
Proton Mail Encrypt
у вас ник, у
email.
вас есть только ник. Вот.
You only have your username. How do you identify a person by the username? There are no ways to do that. But you share this username with a friend of yours.
С тобой два хакера, будем переписывать через
We're now two
вот
hackers
я там суперматч.
who will
Что
be
сделает ваш друг? Он откроет
using
свою записную книжку,
Proton Mail email.
Вася-суперматч.
What is going to happen?
Вот. Дальше
He will
могу предсказать.
enter your contact details as Vasya, Super Macho, blah blah blah,
Общеизвестная
username.
такая, вернее, известная, давно известная
Super
в
hacker.
службах концепция, которая сейчас очень
And
активно
another
обсуждается,
concept
концепция
which is pretty well known with special services. This is an environment of zero trust.
Вы не находитесь в пределах категорированной, контролируемой
If
зоны.
you are not within a categorized, controlled environment,
Любой
all people around you are enemies.
даст противнику, причем это касается вашего
Everyone will give you up,
слить совершенно не
will report you
подумав там какими-то
without
своими
even thinking
намеками.
with their actions.
Вот, ваше устройство заражено, ваш смартфон вообще
Your device is infected. Your
он вас
smartphone is spying on
ваш
you.
текущий сят
Ra-
потерян,
Lots of satellites above you.
компрометирован. Так
And
вот,
your
из вот такой
present
модели, если ее в голове прокручивать,
Session is compromised. If you think of it properly, there are two main consequences of that.
Безусловно, если вы скомпрометированы, вы потеряли текущий сеанс, но
If you're compromised, if you lost the integrity of your current session, what you can do?
архивы, то есть
You
противник
can
до них не доберется.
keep your archives
Устройства заражены, все ваши
protected. Even all your
находятся в руках противника.
devices are infected, all your colleagues are taken by the enemy.
Работу
Second,
своих коллег, то есть их
you can
сеансы,
preserve the work of your colleagues, their sessions will continue, and they will keep performing their duties. And thirdly, you'll be able to keep in secret the main
эпохи
secret
прозрачной войны, в которой мы живем.
of the transparent war era we live in. These are your plans and intentions. Think of that.
Работайте даже
That's the first
нулевого доверия.
consequence.
Правильно
You
отстроить.
can
Второе,
continue working even within a zero trust
если вы
environment.
сейчас начнете
And another
коллекционировать
consequence of this zero trust environment,
приемы,
if you start
конкретные,
collecting specific
на которых спалились даже серьезные хакеры
methods
или злоумышленники,
approach which
мошенники,
led to a failure of
примерно в 100% случаев
professional hackers or scammers,
нарушение
you will
среднего
see
доверия.
that
Человек кому-то
in
доверит.
virtually 100% of the cases
Мы будем работать
they
через Tor. Надо поставить себе Tor-браузер, скачай вот отсюда.
failed
Всё, он
to
доверил.
respect the zero trust
Или вы регистрируетесь на
environment.
бирже,
Okay, we're going to use Tor.
сообщить
Please
данные,
don't
вы никому
Tor
не
from
скажете,
here.
вы доверились бирже. Ну и так далее, и так далее.
If you trust an exchange,
Если вы не хотите
you trust
спалиться,
them with your money,
знаете, что прежде чем спалиться, вы где-то
this
нарушите
is what you do. So
правила
if you get caught,
доверия. Вот.
before that, you're likely to have violated
Этого не делать,
the rules of the zero trust environment. Before you do that, you're safe and secure.
наиболее системно
What I've shared with you,
настольная книга анонима. Вот, если вам
there is this book
интересно,
which
даю вам
provides a
первую
detailed
задачу.
description.
Сама тема разведки в интернете вам интересна,
Anonymous
даю вам первую
says
задачку. Это настольная книга
book.
анонима, где-то припрятана у меня на сайте. Сайт
It is
am.news.
hidden somewhere
Вот. Кто
on the
найдет,
website am.news.
молодец, тому пряник.
Those who find it, well done.
Ну, вернее так, давайте первым 10.
If you find it, I will
Один найдет, всем
give a Bitcoin to the
вот.
first
Ну и если
10
интересна
people who
тема,
find it.
есть несколько мест, где этому профессионально учат. Одно место,
There are professional institutions, educational institutions. One is
кроме того, я вот сейчас вижу среди присутствующих,
in the slide,
которые ведут такие
professional
курсы, поэтому кому
open source intelligence courses.
вот,
I can
подойдите,
see
я сейчас
several
закончу
people who are
8:40,
interested.
туда выйду, вот, я просто познакомлюсь с теми, у кого можно поучиться.
If you are interested,
Вот, ну и
find me after this speech
то, как я до такой
as I exit,
до такой
and I
книги
will
можно
provide
прочитать
you with some context.
книги. Кибердед знает, вот всем
Please
рекомендую.
read this book, Cyber
Всем спасибо.
Grandfather Knows.
Грусть
This is
расставания.
another book you may be interested to read. That's it.
С вами был
I'm so
Андрей
sad.
Масаловский. Масалович.
It's over.
Прости, пожалуйста, меня. Аплодисменты.
Andrей
Огромное
Masalovich.
спасибо. Я надеюсь,
A
что
big round of applause to
было
Andrei.
интересно тебе на нашей
Thank you.
сцене.
I hope you find this interesting
Не скучно.
and enjoy that.
Аплодисменты Андрею.
I had fun.
Но это еще не все.
An applause to Andrei, but that's not
Андрей,
it.
если ты задержишься на секундочку,
Andrei, if you could
Да.
есть
stay
у
with
нас,
us for a little
человек,
bit longer.
который тоже имеет что тебе сказать. Иди ко мне.
А?
Чуть-чуть
We have a person
Есть у нас
who has
человек,
something to share with you. We have a person
побеседовать.
who
Владимир
wants to talk to you.
Владимирович, мы внемли.
Vladimir Vladimirovich,
Кибердед,
we're all ears.
я Маяковский.
Cyber
Можешь найти по
grandfather.
открытым
I'm Mayakovsky.
источникам факты
Can you use
обо мне,
open
которые не
sources
знают даже
to
литературоведы.
share facts about me even
Могу.
literature critics don't know? I can.
Открыл.
I have discovered one fact already.
Маяковский, он
Vladimir Vladimirovich Mayakovsky, as you know,
метрового роста,
he was 2 meters tall,
папу,
like his father.
его отец умер,
His father
заражение крови, он просто уколол
died
палец. И на молодого Маяковского это очень произвело очень сильное впечатление, насколько мы уязвимы.
from
Насколько мы-
sepsis, blood sepsis.
Мир, в
He
котором мы
pricked
живем,
his
требует
finger,
постоянно
and that
быть в боеготовности. Ну, а сейчас
seriously impressed
это уж вообще пипец, как
the son.
боеготовности требует.
So we should be really cautious and ready, because in this internet era, we should be well prepared. A big round of applause to Andrei. Thank you.
Друзья,
And goodbye.